Welcome back to the floor here at GeoWeek 2023. I am joined by customers Michael Vachon of Truebeck Construction, who's a senior CTI manager, and Reid Schultz, also of Truebeck Construction, who's a senior CTI engineer. We're going to ask them some questions. They've been doing some very interesting things in ways that we may not expect. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and start with a question to Michael. Michael, can you tell us a little bit about your journey to deciding on the NavVis VLX and sort of assessing it, how it may work into your workflow?
Yeah, at the beginning, we were looking for a solution for scanning as-built conditions in a faster process. So we found the VLX to be extremely fast. I think we're saving 75% of our time on capture. And then we're getting a point cloud out of that that's processed and used to either evaluate against an existing conditions model or to produce an existing conditions model. And that accuracy is perfect and actually more than well enough for what we're doing. And so that whole process streamlined for us has been a huge cost savings.
Awesome. So I'm going to ask now Reid, as one of the CTI engineers, can you talk a little bit more about how this data maybe differs? Did your workflow change when you went from static to mobile as far as your workflows?
Yeah, reviewing the data, being mobile, we were able to cover a much larger area and get more wholesome data of all the MEP systems, especially in boiler rooms. Getting behind the boilers, we get, complete data in all those rooms. Above ceiling, we've had a lot of success. The VLX far outweighs the terrestrial scanner. We're able to pop single ceiling tiles and get the VLX up there and get lots of coverage and lots of photos as well, as opposed to just one photo per setup. We're getting lots of photos that go along with it. So yeah, I think it's being mobile and having more time and more freedom with the scanner. I think we're able to get a lot of full data.
Very cool. Yeah, so I know I was talking to you guys earlier about some of those projects. If you wouldn't mind sharing maybe sort of a difference in speed on a recent project, just to sort of give perspective on what you can do in a day with one system versus the other.
Yeah. There was basically a warm core shell building that we needed to scan for as-built conditions, for existing conditions. We started with the traditional terrestrial scanner, went through 2 or 3 floors in a day. It's a fairly large floor plate. And then we were actually able to get the VLX in hand soon afterwards, switched over to that process and captured the whole building basically in a day when that was 17 floors. I don't remember the footprint, but it was a lot faster than what we were doing with the terrestrial scanner.
Wow, I got to say, yeah, definitely a big difference. Yeah. And obviously happy to hear that it's still fitting your accuracy needs for achieving what you need it to. Obviously, that's most important. So I was talking to Reid about some stuff that you guys were doing, some very unique sort of deployments of the VLX. Would you mind talking a little bit about some of the more unusual ways that you've deployed the VLX?
Yeah, so it first started out with the above ceiling, getting on the ladder, platform ladder, taking the tile out and getting the unit off the shoulders and in our hands and poking it around and seeing how, it doesn't just have to sit on your shoulders. We can do more things with it. So we're on a catwalk in a overhead space and we really needed to capture the utilities under the catwalk. So we used some conduit pull cable and made a rig, and we're suspending it down from the catwalk to get the underneath portions and made a full data set. It worked out really well. We've taken the VLX and they put me on top of an elevator cab and made me ride it up and down just to try it out, and it actually got some very good data that we were able to use. But yeah, just those are some of our unique little projects where we've tried to push the scanner, and it's turned out really well. We've had a lot of success with it. So,
if you wouldn't mind talking about the that difference in how you would have scanned that elevator shaft with TLS versus how you're able to do it with our SLAM device, the NavVis VLX.
Yeah, so the one with a terrestrial scanner, we would have to work with the elevator engineer to move the elevator and open the doors, consider it safe, which could take about 20 minutes to move the elevator from floor to floor. And then we'd have to do one scan in the elevator lobby, one scan in the doorway of the elevator, one scan on top of the elevator shaft. On top of the elevator. The one thing is that we would only see what's above the elevator per each floor, right? So, and having that bottom of the elevator shaft in every scan data set as we're doing the registration, alignment is also tricky with that, because you don't always, if you're on the lower floors, you're not always seeing the roof, especially for a 17-floor elevator shaft. So getting the data sets to align correctly could be a little troublesome. With the VLX and starting at the bottom and going up, you have no disruptions in the data. It was very clean and very full. With the terrestrial, right, it would be every 15, 20 feet, depending on your floor plate. Being on the VLX, as you're going up the elevator shaft, you're capturing everything on your way up. So it was a 3-bay elevator shaft, so I did it on both bays, the two widest of the bays, and created a pretty cool data set where the structural engineer could analyze the structure for retrofitting of the elevators.
Very cool. You're going to have to show me that.
And it was done in 2 elevator rides.
Quite a bit quicker.
The time savings on that too was pretty exponential. You know, it could have been a whole day job, and it turned out to, you know, only take 20 minutes. So.
That's amazing. You're going to have to show me that data sometime. I was trying to figure out how that would work, but I don't have to. The SLAM did it for me. So that's very cool. Thank you. So, Michael, is there anything else that you'd want to add that we haven't covered here on what makes the VLX so valuable to you guys?
I think our biggest win has really been the above ceiling capture. Lately, we had several projects where normally we'd have a telescoping tripod for a terrestrial scanner, put it up there, and we'd be limited to that one location. We couldn't really get any further. And we can find tiles that we can remove with adequate lighting, and then get the scanner up there and move it around beyond our just above ceiling tile location. We can stretch out if we have some room. Just being able to get that out and around the space as opposed to just one setup has really increased the capture capabilities, especially in congested ceilings, which is a huge problem with locations like hospitals and labs, which we encounter a lot. So I don't think we've really had a great solution before being able to try this out on above ceiling scanning.
Very cool. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Reid.